The year was 1861, and Thomas Henry Huxley stood before his colleagues at the Royal Institution in London. The anatomist held up the fossilized skeleton of Archaeopteryx, a creature that appeared to be caught between worlds, neither fully reptile nor fully bird. With meticulous precision, he demonstrated the similarities between this ancient creature and modern birds, boldly suggesting that birds had evolved from dinosaur-like ancestors. His audience was skeptical. After all, how could the mighty dinosaurs that once dominated Earth be related to the delicate sparrows flitting outside their windows? Fast forward to a crisp autumn morning in 2023 at Montana State University. Paleontologist Dr. Lindsay Carter carefully examines a newly discovered fossil under her microscope, her eyes widening with excitement. The specimen, a perfectly preserved embryonic dinosaur from the late Cretaceous period, displays a feature that confirms what scientists have suspected for decades: the developmental pathways that once created dinosaur anatomy are not extinct but merely repurposed in modern birds. The evidence is unmistakable, Dr. Carter explains, pushing a strand of hair behind her ear as she adjusts the microscope. These embryonic structures show the same developmental patterns we see in chicken embryos today. The dinosaurs did not truly go extinct 66 million years ago, they evolved. Their biological legacy continues in the birds we see every day. The idea that birds are living dinosaurs is not new. Since the late 20th century, paleontologists have accumulated overwhelming evidence that birds descended from theropod dinosaurs, the same group that included Velociraptor and Tyrannosaurus rex. But what makes this concept truly fascinating is not just the evolutionary relationship, but the realization that dinosaur biology is still actively expressing itself, evolving, and adapting within modern birds. To understand this phenomenon, we must first examine what makes a dinosaur a dinosaur. Dinosaurs were a diverse group of reptiles that dominated terrestrial ecosystems for approximately 165 million years. They possessed unique anatomical features including a particular hip structure, upright limbs positioned beneath the body, and often complex social behaviors. Contrary to popular portrayals, many dinosaur species were agile, warm-blooded, and remarkably intelligent animals. Some even possessed feathers. In 1996, paleontologists discovered Sinosauropteryx in China's Liaoning province, the first non-avian dinosaur definitively proven to have feathers. This revolutionary finding was followed by dozens more feathered dinosaur discoveries, establishing beyond doubt that feathers evolved in dinosaurs long before the origin of flight. Dr. Gregory Dawson, an evolutionary developmental biologist at the University of Chicago, has spent his career studying how ancient genetic programs continue to operate in modern animals. His groundbreaking research focuses on atavisms, the reappearance of ancestral traits that should have disappeared through evolution. What we are witnessing is remarkable, Dr. Dawson explains as he displays a series of chicken embryo images in his laboratory. During early development, chicken embryos form structures that are unmistakably dinosaurian, including tail vertebrae, hand claws, and tooth buds, only to resorb or modify them before hatching. These are not vestigial structures, they are active developmental programs that are still running after 66 million years. This phenomenon can be explained through evolutionary developmental biology, or evo-devo, which examines how developmental processes evolve over time. The genetic toolkit that built dinosaur bodies did not disappear when non-avian dinosaurs went extinct. Instead, these developmental programs were retained, modified, and repurposed. In 2015, a team led by Dr. Bartanjan Bullar at Yale University managed to reawaken dormant dinosaurian developmental pathways in chicken embryos, resulting in chickens with more dinosaur-like snouts instead of beaks. The researchers did not add new genes, they simply altered the expression of genes already present. This research demonstrated that the genetic programming for dinosaur features remains intact in bird genomes, it is merely switched off or redirected. Similar research conducted by Dr. Hans Larsson at McGill University successfully induced the development of dinosaur-like leg anatomy in chicken embryos. By manipulating specific genetic switches, his team activated developmental pathways that had been dormant for tens of millions of years. These experiments tell us something profound, Dr. Carter observes. The dinosaurs are not gone. Their developmental programs, their genetic legacy, and their evolutionary potential remain active within birds. In a very real sense, dinosaur evolution is continuing today. This perspective challenges our conventional understanding of extinction. While the specific species of non-avian dinosaurs that roamed the Earth during the Mesozoic era are indeed gone forever, the biological essence of what made them dinosaurs, their developmental programs and genetic architecture, persists in modified form within the 10,000+ species of modern birds. The avian respiratory system offers a compelling example of this dinosaurian inheritance. Birds possess a unique respiratory system featuring air sacs that allow for one-way airflow through their lungs, a system far more efficient than the bidirectional breathing of mammals. This sophisticated adaptation enables birds to extract oxygen efficiently at high altitudes where the air is thin. For decades, scientists believed this was a unique adaptation that evolved in birds for flight. However, studies of dinosaur fossils conducted by Dr. Patrick O'Connor at Ohio University revealed evidence of air sacs and pneumatic bones in non-avian dinosaurs that predated the evolution of flight by millions of years. The implication was clear: the avian respiratory system did not evolve for flight but was inherited from non-avian dinosaur ancestors who had already developed this efficient breathing mechanism. What we are seeing is not just evolutionary conservation but ongoing evolution of dinosaurian biology, explains Dr. Emma Schachner, a functional morphologist at Louisiana State University who specializes in respiratory evolution. The bird respiratory system continues to evolve and adapt to new environments, from the oxygen-poor air at the summit of Mount Everest where bar-headed geese migrate, to the pressure extremes experienced by deep-diving birds. This is dinosaur physiology still adapting to new challenges. The dinosaurian legacy in birds extends to their remarkable brains as well. Birds possess exceptionally large brains relative to their body size, with neural organization that enables complex cognition, tool use, and even self-awareness in some species. Ravens can solve multi-step puzzles, New Caledonian crows craft sophisticated tools, and African gray parrots comprehend abstract concepts and communicate using hundreds of words. Until recently, these cognitive abilities were thought to have evolved after the dinosaur-bird transition. However, research by Dr. Amy Balanoff at Johns Hopkins University used CT scanning to examine the brain cases of theropod dinosaurs, revealing that the expansion of brain regions associated with advanced cognition had already begun in non-avian dinosaurs. The extraordinary intelligence we see in corvids and parrots represents the continued evolution of neural capabilities that were already developing in dinosaurs like Velociraptor, Dr. Balanoff notes. The sophisticated problem-solving we observe in crows is not separate from dinosaur evolution, it is dinosaur evolution in action. Even more remarkably, birds have continued to evolve behavioral traits that may have originated in their dinosaur ancestors. In 2021, paleontologists discovered evidence of parental care in oviraptorosaurs, theropod dinosaurs that sat on their nests like modern birds. The fossilized remains showed an adult dinosaur in a bird-like brooding posture over its eggs, suggesting that the intensive parenting behaviors observed in modern birds began in their dinosaur ancestors and have continued to evolve and diversify over millions of years. The genetic basis for these continuous evolutionary processes has been illuminated through advances in comparative genomics. When scientists sequenced the genomes of diverse bird species and compared them with available genetic material from dinosaur fossils, they discovered remarkable continuity in developmental regulatory genes. In 2014, a team led by Dr. John Fallon at the University of Wisconsin-Madison identified specific genetic mechanisms controlling beak development in birds. By manipulating these genetic pathways in chicken embryos, they induced the development of snout-like structures reminiscent of their dinosaur ancestors. This experiment demonstrated that the transition from snout to beak involved changes in gene regulation rather than the appearance of entirely new genes. What we found was that birds did not need to evolve completely new genetic machinery to develop their specialized features, Dr. Fallon explained. They repurposed existing dinosaur developmental programs, modifying when and where certain genes are expressed during development. This concept of developmental reprogramming explains how birds could evolve their unique adaptations while retaining the fundamental dinosaurian genetic architecture. The genes that once built powerful dinosaur jaws were redirected to create specialized beaks, the genes that created dinosaur scales were repatterned to produce complex feathers, the genes that formed dinosaur forelimbs were modified to construct wings. The implications of this continuing dinosaur evolution become even more fascinating when we consider how birds have adapted to environments that their dinosaur ancestors never experienced. Take the emperor penguin, which has evolved to survive the harshest winter conditions on Earth in Antarctica. Its specialized feathers, blubber, and circulatory adaptations represent dinosaurian biology that has evolved to conquer new frontiers. When an emperor penguin dives 500 meters beneath Antarctic ice, that is dinosaur physiology functioning in an environment no non-avian dinosaur ever experienced, points out Dr. Daniel Ksepka, curator of science at the Bruce Museum and an expert on penguin evolution. The same applies to hummingbirds hovering at 15,000 feet in the Andes or sandpipers migrating from the Arctic to southern Argentina. These are all examples of dinosaur biology continuing to evolve and adapt. The ongoing nature of dinosaur evolution within birds becomes even more evident when we examine recent evolutionary events. The extinct dodo, for instance, evolved from flying pigeons into a flightless form on the island of Mauritius within the past few million years, a mere moment in evolutionary time. This represents a dinosaurian body plan being reshaped by natural selection in response to new environmental conditions. Similarly, the diverse beaks of Darwin's finches in the Galapagos Islands evolved rapidly in response to changing food sources. Research by Dr. Arkat Abzanov at Harvard University identified specific genetic changes that alter beak shape and size in these birds. These modifications occur through the same developmental pathways that shaped dinosaur snouts millions of years earlier. When we observe Darwin's finches adapting their beak morphology to different seeds, we are watching dinosaur feeding apparatus continuing to evolve before our eyes, Dr. Abzanov explains. The time frame is different, happening over decades rather than millions of years, but the underlying developmental processes are the same ones that shaped dinosaur evolution. Perhaps the most compelling evidence for the continuation of dinosaur evolution comes from recent experiments investigating the developmental plasticity still present in birds. In 2015, researchers led by Dr. Arhat Abzanov succeeded in inducing chickens to develop teeth-like structures by activating dormant genetic pathways. Birds lost their teeth approximately 116 million years ago, yet the genetic programming to build them remains accessible within their genomes. What this tells us is that the developmental potential of dinosaurs has not been lost, emphasizes Dr. Matthew Harris of Harvard Medical School, who has conducted similar research. It has been masked by evolutionary changes in gene regulation, but the fundamental capacity to build dinosaur-like anatomy persists within birds. This perspective fundamentally changes how we should think about the Cretaceous-Paleogene extinction event that eliminated non-avian dinosaurs 66 million years ago. Rather than representing the end of dinosaur evolution, it was a bottleneck event that drastically pruned the dinosaur family tree, leaving only the avian branch to continue evolving and diversifying. From this perspective, the 10,000+ species of modern birds represent the current state of dinosaur diversity, the living outcome of 150+ million years of continuous dinosaur evolution. The prehistoric giants may be gone, but their evolutionary journey never ended. The ongoing evolution of dinosaurs within birds also provides insights into broader questions about extinction and survival. Why did some dinosaur lineages survive the mass extinction while others perished? Research indicates that the ancestors of modern birds possessed specific adaptations that proved advantageous during the catastrophic conditions following the asteroid impact. Dr. Derek Larson at the Philip J. Currie Dinosaur Museum conducted research showing that bird ancestors likely had specialized diets that included seeds, which would have been a crucial food resource when global ecosystems collapsed. Additionally, their smaller body size, warm-blooded metabolism, and possibly their cognitive flexibility may have enabled them to weather the extinction crisis that eliminated their larger relatives. The bird-like dinosaurs that survived did not simply get lucky, Dr. Larson notes. They possessed adaptations that conferred resilience during extreme environmental disruption. And those adaptations have continued to evolve and diversify over the past 66 million years. This evolutionary continuity raises provocative questions about the future. If dinosaur biology is still actively evolving within birds, what new forms might emerge in the coming millions of years? What potential adaptations remain encoded in avian genomes that could be expressed under different selective pressures? Some scientists speculate that under the right conditions, more dinosaur-like traits could re-emerge in birds. In environments where predation pressure is reduced, such as on isolated islands, birds have repeatedly evolved flightlessness and increased body size, a pattern seen in ostriches, emus, and the extinct moa and elephant birds. These trends suggest that the potential for larger, more dinosaur-like forms remains embedded within avian developmental programs. The capacity for birds to evolve more dinosaur-like forms is clearly demonstrated in the fossil record, explains Dr. Julia Clark, a paleontologist at the University of Texas who specializes in the dinosaur-bird transition. The elephant birds of Madagascar evolved to stand over 9 feet tall and weigh over 1,000 pounds, dimensions approaching those of some non-avian dinosaurs. This illustrates how dinosaur developmental programs can still generate substantial body size when ecological conditions permit. The implications extend beyond birds themselves. The recognition that dinosaur biology continues to evolve provides a different perspective on evolutionary continuity and the arbitrary nature of taxonomic boundaries. While we categorize organisms into discrete groups like dinosaurs and birds, nature does not recognize these divisions. What we observe is an unbroken chain of evolving life forms, with each generation subtly different from the last. When we look at a cardinal outside our window, we should recognize that we are observing the current state of a lineage that has been evolving continuously since the Triassic period, Dr. Carter emphasizes. The distinction between dinosaur and bird is a human construct that does not reflect the biological reality of uninterrupted evolutionary development. This perspective also illuminates how similar evolutionary processes might be occurring in other groups. The mammals that scurried beneath dinosaur feet during the Mesozoic era have evolved into the diverse forms we see today, from bats to blue whales. Like birds, these mammals carry forward the developmental programming of their ancient ancestors, modified by millions of years of natural selection. As we gaze at the starling murmuration swirling across the evening sky, or watch a hawk soaring on thermal currents, we are witnessing the contemporary manifestation of dinosaur biology. The elegant wing structure that enables flight evolved from the same forelimbs that once bore fearsome claws. The keen vision that allows an eagle to spot prey from a mile away developed from the sensory systems of predatory dinosaurs. The complex social behaviors observed in ravens and parrots emerged from neural capacities that began evolving in their dinosaur ancestors. Dr. Gabriel Dawson reflects on this continuity as he watches chickadees at a feeder outside his laboratory window. We tend to think of extinction as a complete termination, but that is not always the case. Sometimes, extinction is selective, eliminating certain expressions of a lineage while allowing others to continue. The dinosaurs are not gone, they are merely transformed. Their biology, their developmental programs, their evolutionary potential continues within birds. The truth is both humbling and exhilarating. We live in a world still shaped by dinosaur evolution. The morning chorus that greets the dawn is the voice of evolved dinosaurs. The migrations that cross continents and oceans each year are dinosaur journeys. The intelligence that enables crows to use tools and parrots to learn language is dinosaur cognition, refined and enhanced by millions of years of continued evolution. As Dr. Lindsay Carter carefully packs away the ancient dinosaur embryo fossil, she pauses to watch a flock of geese flying in formation outside her laboratory window. Every time I see birds, I am reminded that extinction is not always the end of a story. Sometimes, it is simply a plot twist in an ongoing evolutionary narrative. The dinosaurs never left us. They are still here, still evolving, still adapting to our changing world. And perhaps that is their greatest legacy, not dominance, but persistence, not size, but adaptability, not fear, but wonder. The next time you hear a bird call, take a moment to listen more carefully. That sound represents the current expression of a voice that has been evolving continuously for over 150 million years. It is the living echo of the ancient dinosaurs, not fossilized in stone, but embodied in flesh and feather, continuing their remarkable evolutionary journey right before our eyes.